Welcome all to our first live stream. We're so excited, guys, to have you guys with us today. We really wanted to give you guys a preview of some of the content that's going to be up and coming and some of the cool things that we've got in collaboration. And we wanted to discuss some exciting new Legion content as we have a really big event going on with LVO, and we've got some massive new units and updates to Legion coming in. Now's the time to be in the game, and we've got plenty
Definitely.
to talk about. Jared?
Absolutely. Colton, it's good to see you, man.
Heck yeah.
I wish that we were at LVO right now, but it just wasn't in the cards for me. I've been watching. We have an OG Dust Bowl bounty hunter on stream right now. I think that their game is at time or really close to being at time. I haven't been able to watch this one as closely. I have a big
Yeah.
work thing going on this week or this weekend that has prevented me from being at LVO. We got to provide a ton of the prize support, and we partnered with LVO to bring them the tournament or to provide tournament kits for the local qualifying tournaments. So
Yep.
those are super cool. Those are shipping out this weekend and to those who have pre-ordered. And they're also going out to people who are actually picking them up at the tournament. So that's super cool. Just bummed that we can't be there in person, but at least our products are, I guess.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So we have launched a Patreon, and this show will move exclusively to our Patreon. And yeah, it's gonna be super cool. We're gonna do it once a month. There's also gonna be exclusive Patreon content like extra vlog battle reports and any other content that I just randomly feel like making. Outside of our Patreon, we post once weekly on YouTube, and and it's a rotation of vlog battle reports, tactics videos from Colton, and long form battle reports, which are on their way. So Colton's got a tactics video coming out next week, and then I have a full length bat rep with Travis coming out the week after that. And it actually, it's a Shadow Collective.
Yeah.
The
Heck
theme
yeah.
of that video was really, is it still good? Because Travis played Yoda and Rex and 3 bark speeders.
Mhm. Been there,
And
done
then,
that.
yep, and then I ran double bounty, double bus, Shadow Collective with 3 swoops as well. So it was at least interesting. I will not leave any more spoilers than that. Yeah, it was an interesting matchup for sure. So yeah, Patreon stuff. We are running a some promotional deals right now for hopping on our Patreon this early. Our 2 top tiers come with immediately. You could just get the top tier. That's one of the top 2 tiers for 1 month, and immediately get a reward. There is a customized dice tray, not dice tray, token tray, with your name that will literally put your name on it in a color run that only. I'm loving the faces for this. It's making me want to go sign up for our own Patreon.
I will.
And so I am. If you get in at those levels, we'll immediately send you a scoreboard at the $20 level, or a token tray at the $50 a month level. So even if you're not on our Patreon, we're just thankful for your support, that you're
Hmm.
here watching these videos, engaging with our content. It really means the world to me, and I know Colton appreciates it as well. And we just love creating content for you guys. So enough about that. Colton, there's a big event going on right now. I don't know if you know that or not.
I do. I do know that.
It,
It's just
it
too busy reproducing the Earth to go myself, but um,
I,
you
I
know,
don't know what that means, but we'll keep going.
hey, we'll just add to the population, so won't be a
Oh,
dad
that's
thing.
funny.
But
Colton's about to be a dad if you didn't know it. Internet. Sorry, I'm adjusting my
yeah.
camera. So
But
he's like weeks away,
yeah.
maybe
So
less.
yeah, probably less, but. regardless,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we can't talk about some of the stuff going on. I think it's pretty interesting for LVO. I'm really excited to see who walks away with this in both the Invitational and the Open,
Yep.
because I still feel like Legion's kind of in the Wild West, especially now that Anakin and the Arcs have taken a little bit of a nerf hammer. You could argue for a good list out of any of the four factions in the little
Mm-hmm.
stepbrother of Shadow Collective to have something that could show up and win it. So I am curious to see how this is going to go. I know
Right.
you've been keeping up with it, and I'm also very interested to see uh, how droids are going to walk away from this because they might be walking faster in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yep. So I have some statistics, some early statistics from what's
Uh-oh.
going on at the LVO at the GT right now. If you had to guess, what faction do you think has the highest win rate so far? This is just after like
Mm,
2.5 rounds, so it's still too early to call it for the whole thing. But just what do you think? What faction do you think and why?
I mean, crap. It's actually good that I struggle to immediately give you an
Yeah,
answer.
I think
So
that's a
like
good sign. Yeah,
shout out to AMG if they did anything right with this new update. It's at least give all of the factions a say. I would have
absolutely.
told you Gar pretty easily, a month ago.
Sure.
I want to say CIS, but I really feel like that's just going to be wrong. Um, I am going to be very bold and say Rebels.
You are correct. Rebels right now are on top with
Yeah,
57% win rate.
boom.
And then
Know my boys.
who do you think second?
Oh, second? I got to go down the
Yeah.
whole thing. Oh my gosh.
Nah, I'll just first and
No, no, no.
second.
I got it. Here you go. Here you go.
Okay,
First,
here we
second.
go. Rebel, you
Uh,
got it.
Rebel one. I'm going. Just let me rapid fire the rest of these. CIS two. Republic three. Should I say Empire? Empire four. Shadow Collective last.
Dude, everybody give it up for Colton Evans.
Oh, is that
My
actually
goodness,
right?
that was spot on.
Awesome. Awesome.
If you want to know why you should watch Tactics Talk, there's your commercial right there. He just pulled that out of thin air. So,
Yeah.
that's
I
funny.
I knew that Rebels with like I know I haven't really been seeing three sleeper cells, but I think people really do sleep on Rebels because they're like
Mm,
red saves. You need red saves because you don't actually get cover. But I really do think they have some crazy play with some of their heroes now that
yep.
the cover works the way it does. But
Mm-hmm.
good. I'm glad I'm not clueless. So
Yep. No,
cool.
you are
Just
spot on. You're definitely spot on. So yeah, it's really Rebel and CIS are just like
yeah,
way above everybody else. It's
nice.
57 and 54%. Gar is 46%. Empire is 45%, and then
Oh,
Shadow is at 36%.
but they only have
Now,
like
there's
five.
yes, there's I'm not sure. Let me switch back to the other stats, and I can tell you how many players there are.
I actually haven't checked. I really have not looked into the
Yeah,
statistics side.
there's six Shadow Collective players.
Okay. Shout
Yeah.
out to you guys.
Yep.
Shout out. Way to represent.
There's 31 Empire, more Empire than anything. 30
Which
Rebel,
also
25
helps explain
Separatists.
why they have a lower win percentage as
Yeah,
well. The more, the merrier, unfortunately,
sure.
sometimes, but not always how that works. But
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how this breakdown is, if it differs at all from the invitational tomorrow.
yeah, 100%.
Um, so,
I'm sure it
uh,
will.
yeah, or at least the win percentage breakdown.
I feel like
So,
the numerical amount of players that will be playing what faction will differ greatly. Like, I don't expect to see that many Empire. I
mm-hmm,
expect to see much less Empire in the invitational side of things, but
sure.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Am I on my advanced stats? Boom. Okay. So we've got a win rate. Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm coming
Your
back.
battery's dying.
No, it's okay. Grab me.
No. Okay, well, guys, while Colton is replacing that, I'm going to give you a rundown of some of the other statistics. So far, we blue player has a 57% win rate over red player. So that is advantage blue player choosing that edge, that they are edging out their opponents on that than the red player. In addition to that, Longshanks also gives win percentages based on the advantage that you play. Players with who have advanced intel, no shocker, have the highest win rate percentage at 61%. Cunning deployment is second behind that at 50%, and then behind that is ordnance at 49%. And those are the exact three that I run. So
Yes, very good choices through
that
and
makes
through.
me feel good about those three for sure. Let's see. The most taken or the most played battle or the most played not battle objective so far is close the pocket, which that doesn't surprise me either, being it is the most similar to Legacy Legion. So I'm not surprised to see close the pocket happening the most. At the bottom of the barrel, you've got breakthrough with only 14 games so far. Secondary sweep and clear is what is far above the rest, and
Makes sense.
so yeah. So let's move on from there. We have coming up next. Colton's working on his camera. It might be a little bit
Yeah,
before we get that
battery's coming down, but we'll pop it
before we
back in
get
a
that
second.
back up. But in the meantime, we're gonna talk about our drumroll, please, about the new Separatist releases. And so, Colton, did you pick up any of these yet?
No, I'm actually I know I'm a psychopath. I pretty much own everything in Legion, and I am utterly terrified with the amount of new stuff coming our way,
Yeah,
which once again is a good problem to have.
sure,
So I can't hate on anything here. I promise you I will own these probably in the next couple weeks,
right,
but um I'll probably have some extra hobby time too, for being honest.
sure,
Uh I it I'm definitely trying to focus on one faction and really
mm-hmm,
look into getting all of the new models, and that's probably going to be Gar, just because I think the ARF Trooper and the Jedi's look so cool,
yeah.
especially if those
That
guys
box
are
looks super cool.
forces. I mean, that's just an instant three boxes for me. So I don't
Yep,
know. I really do need to just chill out because I will definitely end up buying these, but I'm sure I'll own a couple of these. I do want to let the community really give good feedback on these two units though,
sure,
because I would like to buy one or the other, or a quantity that makes sense. Like I don't want to go out and buy 3 crab droids tomorrow,
yeah,
but looking at this card, there may be a very good reason to do just that.
yeah. Why don't you? Can you see the keywords enough to
Oh
give us
yeah,
an
for sure,
overview
for
of what
sure.
we got, what we're looking at here?
Yeah, and that's the first thing you gotta start with, Jared, is when you look at a unit and the entire card is filled with text. Um,
Is that
I,
Bad Batch in the shape of a crab?
it's a little bonkers when you see a card. Like I remember the first time I saw Pikes and I was like, wow, that's a lot of keywords for a core
Mm-hmm.
unit. And sure enough, they're really, really good. But here we have a support unit. And I will
Sure.
say, before we just talk about how maybe they're a little too good, it is interesting to see that they really did match that qualification of the word support, because I
Yeah,
think that's probably what these guys do the best, is like
definitely.
actually support your army. So just think of all those favorite CIS pieces you have, and then just throw a crab droid in that list and see
Yeah.
if you think that's going to make it better. So starting off at armor 2, I mean, that's fantastic. Having free heavy cover, I say, is very good.
Yep.
Red saves and droids have now somehow become the more common save. I,
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know what the statistics are if you go throughout the droid army, but like red saves are not a small quantity in this army anymore.
No.
So it's very helpful. Climbing
Yeah.
vehicle, whatever. I mean, congratulations, you can climb. Proud of
Sure.
you. Programmed, not a bad thing to have, but just understand that you are paying more than the base cost of
Yes,
this
you're
piece of machinery.
required to add at least 3 more points.
Yep. So reposition is very good. We do like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's going to help a lot with
Yeah.
notched bases and the notched
Yep.
arcs for your guns.
Yes.
Scale, cool. Once again, you're just kind of getting all of the minute keywords to
Yep.
ignore ugly pieces of terrain that you don't want in
Mm-hmm.
your game. And then we come to the one that really matters. So as a Rex player, I'll rant. No, I won't rant. I'll talk about this. But like the value of Rex, and even to this day, is just oh cool. I can really position my units, and that keyword of scouting party has been gatekept so hard behind Wicket and Rex that I am absolutely I don't know, terrified to see what people can come up with it just being available. And I
Sure.
know that Rex can give it to 2 units that, any pretty much anyone in guard that doesn't already have scout, but being able to bring 3 copies of that and really pick and
Mm-hmm.
choose who's getting this, just don't be surprised if you see like 3 crab droids and then 3 squads of B2s immediately after.
Sure.
I think that you're going to see lots of funky lists with this dude, and they're going to be like the unit that I'm just going to throw on my home objective. They're going to hold it down, and
Yep.
then they're going to support everything else with gunfire and, of course, scouting party.
Yeah.
So I don't see. I think with crab droids, like looking at this card, it's got plenty of keywords. Um, can you pull up the 2 heavy weapons upgrades for them to see as well?
Yeah, I would literally was just remembering that I didn't download those, but I can tell you about them. They
Oh
are
yeah, yeah,
both of
go
them
for it.
are range 1 to 3. You
Yes.
have the heavy one, the heavy blaster that is 10 points.
Hmm.
It is range 1 to 3, 5 black, impact 2.
Yes, and that one's the cheaper one. Or
That's
is
the
that the
more expensive one.
which
The
I think you would?
cheaper one is the twin blaster cannons for
Yup.
5 points, and it's 2 red, 2 black, no other keywords.
Yeah, I think both are solid options. I think most
Hmm.
people are going to go with that Impact 2 5
Yeah,
black
for
gun.
5 dice. Yeah,
It's more, and
or
I
for
mean that brings the total cost of a bare minimum crab droid to what? What is our initial cost
well, if you
plus
take so
program?
if you do the expensive programmings, it's these start at 70, and then it's 8.
Yeah,
So
plus
78 plus
10.
10, 88, and
Yeah,
with
I
the
mean
expensive gun.
to be frank, points wise, I think that their cost is actually pretty okay in
Yeah,
terms 88 points like that in the 1,000 point legion that we're playing right now. It's a pretty good number.
yeah,
It's more what it can do with the other stuff in CIS that might take it out of proportion.
right.
So I do really feel like this is a support piece,
Sure,
and so I really do think this is just something you could throw in a list.
sure.
The only downside, and I will give it this, is that with every new droid release, there is this pattern of why I realized they stopped the AI of old.
Hmm.
Because these, if you bring a bunch of these in your list, you're going to come to the point where you realize, hey, guess what? I don't have perfect order control anymore.
Right.
Like you are going to be pulling from the bag as a droid player if you really want to pursue this
Sure.
realm of crab droids and aqua
Yeah.
droids. But hey, there's plenty of orders to still be tossed around. And with
Hmm.
things like aggressive tactics, giving these guys a surge for defense and things like that,
Really
and
good.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fine. It's
Yeah,
gonna be just fine. You're gonna be okay with having about 3 in your bag, and you're gonna bring improvised orders, and you're gonna pull what you want anyways. So
definitely.
I think that these are a fantastic addition to your army.
Hmm.
I don't I don't know if I'd be like, oh, you should buy aqua droids or crab droids, because that's kind of what's going through my mind right now. I'm probably just gonna do one a piece and then see
Sure.
which one I like more, or if I like them both enough. But
Yeah.
I love that these are a support piece.
Sure.
That is what I like about them the most. I don't
Yeah.
think they're gonna lead anything off the table. I don't think they're gonna win you games by themselves, but I think they're gonna elevate your army enough that you're gonna see a lot of these guys in competitive scenes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's we'll circle back to list composition discussion after we cover the aqua droids as well.
Boom.
The aqua droids are a heavy unit. They have AI attack move, no problem. Armor 2, and the big one,
Oh,
infiltrate.
yes.
Man, that
Yep.
whoo, that's gonna be spicy.
The
Uh,
3 wounds for sure.
yes, and they're 3 wounds. The other part is surging white save.
Yeah.
That's gonna be new. That's new-ish for this faction, and being able to surge, which my last several games with white saves, like I don't think that surging would have made a difference. They were all
No,
blanks. Can't surge blanks. But
no, no.
that is a notable change. You look at things like the Wookiees who are 3 health each, non-surging, and no armor unless you're going slow with the shield. Um,
Yep.
these guys have a range 1 to 3 weapon. Their laser cannon, white black, and then also in melee they have a crushing punch, which is impact 1. So both of these new releases giving you some impact, some serious impact options. That's one thing we didn't talk about the crowd was its melee was also really good. I
Sure.
think it was
Yes.
a rainbow plus an
I
extra
think it's
red.
two red, a black, and a white. I thought,
Yeah.
and also the crab search. I mean, like, sorry
Yes.
for not mentioning that for
Yep.
offense at least, but
Yep.
I mean, you with all the exemplar in this faction, it's gonna be gross. That's
Yep.
all I'm gonna say. It's just gonna be
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and then the heavy weapon. I don't remember how many. I unfortunately don't remember how many points. You know what? I'm just gonna go to
no, no, no.
10.
I got it. I got it.
You
I got it.
got
I'll
it.
pull it up.
Atta
Yep, yep, yep,
boy.
yep, yep, yep. Let me pull it up. I had
It
it right
is
here. Okay.
the
So I've
heavy.
got the Aqua
He's
Droid.
very creatively named Aqua Droid Heavy
Heavy, very nice guy.
or
Impact
Heavy
two,
Aqua
two red
Droid.
and a white for
2 red and
28
a white.
points at range 1 to 3. So that is going to bring your model count up from 3 to 4, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably the biggest one with this unit is that makes it 93 points. But for a heavy, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the cheapest heavy in the game with an upgrade. I really
Not.
can't
I
think
think
of another heavy.
the X34 has it beat.
That's
Um,
not even a real unit. No, we
I'll give you that. I'll
no,
give you
but
that.
for real, not. I mean, it's a fun. It's not. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is a good problem to have as a droid player to decide which one of these is more scary.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of have
Um,
analysis
you know,
paralysis
4 sets of
now.
this with a total of what is that? 4 times 3 is 12 wounds.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Armor
They
2
don't
on this as
break.
well. They don't break. 12 wounds. I mean, the surging white saves, like you said, is whatever, but that armor 2 is going to be consistent, and that's what you want.
Yep.
The damage output for these guys is going to be consistent. It'll be more than the crab droid at its peak and
Mhm.
worse than the crab droid as they deteriorate. So that is
Yep.
something to compare the two with is you have the single model discussion versus the multi-model discussion. But I mean, there's plenty of these guys to go around. You're bringing 4. I don't think you bring these guys without the heavy. I could
Right.
be wrong there, but that definitely seems to be the little punch they need to make that mediocre dice pool a little scarier for
Yep.
sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh yeah, I think these guys are going to be real good. Speaking of these guys, I've been working on something.
Uh-oh.
I know, well, first off,
Oh.
I've been working on them. Here's
What?
ah, come on. There we go.
Wow. He didn't even give me one.
I have a whole
That's awesome.
unit built with these
Bro,
boys.
show him a normal person. Give
Oh
us a
yeah.
regular
Let's
person
see.
to see next to the might of the Aqua Druid so we can see how big these guys really are. I see the girth of this man. Oh, you picked Boba too? That's so disrespectful.
Which Boba looks bigger than the
Yeah,
rest of
but
them because he's
still, I
on a
mean,
little
those
bit of a
things
slant.
are, and
Yeah.
there's 4.
Yeah.
So I just
Yes.
want everyone to
You
think about the
can
line of sight blocking opportunity with
yes,
4
you
of those.
can with 4 of them, you can completely wrap a miniature. Which
My
leads
goodness.
me to my next exhibit,
Oh
and
gosh.
it is my world's
Oh,
list thoughts for right now. I
oh
got
no, he has.
signed up for Adepticon this week. I'm definitely not winning worlds, so this is why I'm showing you all this. And this is kind of where I'm at with these guys. So Colton, you can definitely roast my list. Tell me where you think I'm going to have problems. Tell me what you like about it. But I'm starting with Dooku and Grievous, and this list comes from not feeling like I've had a good in my list building recently. I don't feel like I've done a good job building my list to where they can be split. So that is where I started at with this is
Yeah.
I want to have a powerhouse on both sides, Dooku Grievous. And then I just started building around that. So, Dooku, Cherry, why you tease me, man? I'm getting my aqua. Sorry, Grunt Boys. You're gonna have to build them. Gotta have to build them fast, man. You're gonna have to catch up. I have one
Can't
aqua
figure
droid
it
unit
out.
built, one crab built.
Ooh, where's
Hoping
that crab
to.
at?
It's not in here. I forgot to grab it. It's in my house.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah,
messed up.
and I haven't checked, but I don't think that they're gonna be line of
Grab
sight
this battery
blocking.
real quick.
I will say this about the um, the crabs. I thought they were going to be line of sight blocking. There's like really no way to. Um, there's no alternate building options for the. There's no alternate building options for the crab droids. So you're pretty locked in unless you are a serious hobbyer on
Yeah.
what they offer for you. Colton is a tech wizard and is back.
No, if
He's
I was a
back,
tech
baby.
wizard, we would we would have a camera.
The camera wouldn't have gone off in the first
I'm,
place.
hey, I'm getting a whole college degree in media in and out. I don't even know what would this be called, Jared? What's your degree in?
Digital media and
Digital
production.
media and production minor coming my way. Apprenticeship only.
Heck
College
yeah.
degree useless.
Heck
But
yeah.
yeah, this battery will die in 2 minutes, and then I'll swap over the other one that's actually. But
Well, tell you
we're here
what,
for
we're gonna get a wired power supply for that camera in the mail tonight.
yeah.
So the next time,
Wow.
all of you who are watching, who end up on our Patreon, who watch
Oh,
this the second it comes out, won't have to deal with this next time. So here's the list. I got Dooku with fear, force
yeah.
choke, force push, and lead by example.
Yep.
Because Grievous is a scaredy boy. Grievous has strict orders, tenacity, prepared supplies. I have two B1s with PKs. I have a naked B1. I have two Magna Guards with the extra Magna Guard and tenacity. Two crab droids with defensive protocols and heavy laser cannon, because they are still 5 wounds.
Yes.
And then aqua droids, or one aqua droid with the heavy aqua droid. My thought process on the split is Dooku, aqua droid, one Magna, and one B1 with the PK.
Okay.
Then the other side is Grievous, two crab droids, one Magna because he's got entourage, and then the naked B1 and PK as well. So both sides have a PK with them. Grievous has the crabs with them, which the crabs may need to split up based on where, if I come up against armor, where that armor goes, the crabs might need to react to that. So, but that's like, I think, perfect world, what I'm thinking on that split. The aqua droids are really just a line of sight wall that I'm going to force my opponent to shoot before Dooku and the Magnas get in. What are your thoughts, Colton?
Who are you scouting party to?
Scouting
Or
party
one
is
one of
Dooku and Grievous because there's two crabs, so I can
yeah.
I can give two of them. So,
Okay.
yep. And
Yeah.
then I in my command cards, I actually took Dooku's 3-pip and then Assault because I think turn 1 I have to play Assault to get an order on the aqua droids.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
because that would infiltrate in. Yeah.
yeah, and I can have perfect order control, I think. So one order would go to the
One
B1s,
one
which
B one B1.
coordinate. Um,
You
and
a
then
Magna, Entourage, Grievous,
Entourage
Magna.
Magna, Direct. Um, uh,
Yeah, you could have perfect order control if you gave it to
yeah,
the three heavies, and then
yes.
you could either have both
Direct and
cap
Entourage.
commanders in the
Direct and
mag. Or,
Entourage, yeah.
yeah.
Yep, get
No.
it.
Yeah. And then
Second
the
direct the B1 chain, which coordinates to one of the Magnas, and then Entourage the other Magna.
yep.
And then I've
And
got
then
commanders in the bag.
three.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
The reason I went with the command upgrades that I did is I can inspire 2 off of Grievous, and then if he still has 2, I can just remove 1 with strict orders on Grievous.
Okay.
So that way,
Okay.
That way, which, I think that the crab droids would really benefit from aggressive tactics, but I don't see many times where, with at least with these commanders, where the crab droids are getting an order other than turn one.
Yeah, no, I think this is when just from someone that just got done playing like Krennic Cunning, just kind of like how we talked about in the last tactics video. It's such a I punch you, you punch me game right now
Right.
that I would say 99.9% of your games you're gonna play Dooku's one pip turn two, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
dive in and you're gonna kill as much as you can because the first thing I see about your list is you have three quote unquote vehicles that are your gun line, back line, holding down the fort, sitting on your home objectives, while you kind of wave goodbye and give them the kissed off handkerchief to
Right.
Grievous and Dooku as they
Yep.
parade away into the Nemesis,
Mm-hmm.
along with the Magna Guards.
And I'm really using them
Um,
as walls. Turn one is really what they're there for.
yeah. So that would be my only thing then is because when you said that, that's good. Like the Aqua Droids specifically, or all of them.
The
Like
aqua droids and the crabs, at least turn one, would be
so what
walls.
what sits at home after you wall?
Aquas and crabs, because
Okay.
that because like
Wall and
you're
move through
you're
them.
you're the edge of your, if they're gonna infiltrate, they could theoretically
Yeah.
basically. I go with everything, so I'd probably would go with the B ones first, the Magna Guards next, then crabs, then Dooku Grievous, then Aqua Droid last,
Okay. Yeah.
to create a
Yeah.
wall. And I actually kind of like the three pip, Dooku's three pip turn two. Let me tell you why. The um, if I can go towards the end, if I'm not severely out activated,
Right.
if I can create a wall with the Aqua Droids, play his three pip turn two, then Dooku can move from behind the Aqua Droids, hopefully late turn two, do his lightning and do that speed 2 move, and then with force push I can cohere them towards me, then with force push, push them either theoretically into where the magnet guards might have gone,
Right.
or somewhere where, or maybe even like into me. Like that's like, I think it's like 10 inches of movement that you can
Oh
do
yeah.
with
No.
that
I.
unit on
Yeah.
that turn, just to make it to where I'm not necessarily in their ball. I try and, take them in on my terms, rather than just diving right into their ball of stuff.
Yeah. 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 I like it. I think that this list is extremely aggro, and I think the more you wait, the more you'll suffer. Um, with Grievous and Dooku, like based off what you were just saying, because like if you do go last with Dooku, that means Grievous would have had to go in, the Magdas would have to be in,
Mm-hmm.
the Crabs and Aqua Droids can absolutely help out. They're going to do a great job just
Yeah.
adding some fire support. Um, the PKs are good. I think that'll help a lot with the Aqua Droids.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much the rest of. I guess the Magnas would be good on as well. So they'll be a delicate piece for sure because they can either just get one shot and you lose that now 22-point upgrade,
Sure.
or you have a really good upgrade. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll definitely. I think your list will all come down to timing. It'll all
Sure.
come down to timing, and I think that with the archetype that you're going for, just hardcore melee mostly. I see a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of shooting in this list, but like you're gonna win games based off, Grievous and Dooku coming in to the lines, disrupting it like you were saying, and
Sure.
doing all of these things.
Yep.
So through and through, um, lots of good stuff there.
Yep.
But I mean I love it. And,
Yeah.
for all the critics I'm giving it right now, but I love it. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
listen,
I don't know
Cody.
what you do
You
against.
literally can't hurt my feelings.
No, 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 no. I mean this. Like, I I love Dooku's probably my favorite toy to put on the
Yeah.
table,
Mm-hmm.
and always has been. And now he's like actually amazing.
Yeah. He's
And
he's a treat.
I think you're gonna see a ton of him with this new stuff. I love your list. I love the scout one on both of them. That would be my only thing is I feel like what you're saying versus what it's trying to do kind of counteract each
Uh
other a
huh.
little bit in the
Yeah.
sense that it's like I'm gonna scout one and double move turn one, but like also I want to wall off. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna find yourself a lot of games just, oh, I'm already here. like
Yeah,
round one
that's
or turn.
true because
But
two speed
you
two
have
moves would put
options
me beyond one and a
and a
half,
scout
which is
one
where I would infiltrate.
and a
But
scout one.
if I guess if I infiltrate though, I mean, if I go last,
Yeah,
then or second to last, and then activate the aqua droids can infiltrate and then double move. So like they could drop down at range one and a half and then move from there, and then create my wall that far forward.
yeah.
Um, Grievous, I think I'd have to be less aggressive with Grievous because I would go with Grievous before all of that.
Mhm.
But maybe with Dooku or whoever needed to get in first, I guess, is what I would need to um, is what I would need to go last with to try and
Yeah.
time that out a little better.
The good
Um,
thing is though, I think the good thing about this conversation we're having though is that it's one that needs to be had because you have options. And
mm-hmm.
that's the real power of it is that yes, I can just go full monkey and maybe even charge you turn one. I mean, a Grievous relentless shot, obviously,
Yeah.
with the Scout one double move. And the cool thing is with the Magnas, you hide them behind a wall, you keep them at range one of Dooku and Grievous after
Yep.
they've done their quote unquote triple move with Scout.
Yep.
There's not going to be a lot of things left if you're going last with them round one that are
Uh
going to
huh.
hurt them. Like you may be willing to take a shot from a Z6 phase one and
Sure.
take your measly wound on Grievous and get tenacity.
Sure.
So I
Yep.
think that that's a great list because you can counteract the opposite end of things where people are aggressive back to you, but also you can go just, hey, this guy's got a gun line. I'm going to go score the objectives round two. You're going to have to peel off these four melee menaces with a barrage of heavies coming at you. So
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite thing about it is if I saw it in front of me, it would be a very good challenge to decide, crap, what do I try to kill first?
Right. Yep. And that's where I think that's what I think I've with the list building stuff strategy that I think I've got the a little bit of a hang of is like trying to create questions for my
Yes.
opponent in my list building of that. Like, what do I
And that's
like?
such a good topic, Jared. It'd be a shame if we had a video coming up about that
Right,
today
man.
being recorded.
Oh
My, my,
man, threat
I
saturation. What?
I hate to spoil it, but our next topic is list building discussion. So,
Woo, doggy.
um,
That's
I'm definitely all about players having these conversations where
yeah,
it's not a man, why do I suck?
sure.
In reality, maybe you're actually pretty good at the game, but your list is
Yeah.
that's a very real thing.
Well, hey, that's a good transitional thing to the next topic that I want to touch on with you, and before we call it a night,
Yeah.
real quickly, I want to get to the chat. Kid Aaron is in the chat. One of our locals. He
A
says that
boy.
he's working on building a thematic list,
Yes.
which will be really cool. I'm excited to see. I'm struggling with theme on my aquas and crabs because all of my droid army is Geonosis base.
Same.
So I'm like, no, all these wet. I literally have the thought has crossed my mind to 3D print little tiny kiddie pools to
It would
put
be
on
the
the
coolest
bases.
thing ever. It would be the funniest. I would love that. I really hope you do. You told me that I was like, yes, make me some.
Maybe just one. Maybe just one of them. I don't want to do. I don't want to commit to the whole thing to be like that. But anyways, Christian Soldier asking. I think he's asking us if
Hmm.
when they'll be able to see that list in action. Actually, I hope to. I hope
Practice it.
that I will try it on Monday, and I hope that I can convince Colton to come play some games on Monday. We'll see.
You're not convincing me.
Ah, dang it. His wife's listening.
No.
And so anyways, I'm
We could
hoping to
definitely.
get some games in on Monday with
Yeah,
it.
we could
Schedule
definitely meet up.
TBD. And if I do get a game in it, you bet your bottom dollar I'm filming a vlog report. So probably a few weeks before you'll be
We
able to
could
see that.
definitely do that.
So,
We can definitely do a vlog.
but coming up very soon. So that transition that you were talking about,
Hmm.
uh, I what are some things that you think players can use to gauge whether or not they are improving as a player? Because if maybe I'm new to the game and I've lost 5 straight and I continue and I lose 5 more. how do I know within those losses? Like if you're playing somebody who's a really good player who's just gonna beat you regardless. Like I played Travis 1,000 times. I beat him one time. How do I know in all of those losses, am I actually getting better at this game? Like, what are some gauges that you think you can use to look at your gameplay to know if you're improving at this game?
Yeah, I mean it's the it comes first to the player of what you're trying to accomplish, and I
Mm-hmm.
always just I'm giving you the assumption that you are trying to win as many games as possible. I know
Yes,
it
yes,
sounds
from
like
that standpoint. Yeah.
bad, but
Yep.
like to me, like that's what's fun for me. And there's three different types of gamers, and we can have that whole conversation another time. But
Sure.
there's the guy that wants to do the big IQ thing, be competitive, or just have fun.
Yep.
But if we're just looking at it from regardless of which one of those three you are, you're trying to win a game. The best way to look at your losses and see if you're actually getting better is, well, first off, and I know this sounds extremely cheesy, but are you winning?
Yeah.
You first off, this is why I always recommend playing different players. Is
Mm-hmm.
if Jared here only played Travis every single game of his
If I just
life,
keep running into a wall.
you're never gonna know if you got better because he's probably that much farther ahead of you that you have a long time before you really get to that level, or you're gonna
Sure.
have to get lucky. So you really want to play people that are maybe kind of on the same level as you, and if you're winning those games, it's like, oh, cool, I can beat these guys now. I've said it 100 times, but I lost my first 12 games of Legion, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like new to tabletop. I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have like bought
Spent
this. Like
hundreds
this.
of dollars
I
and
was like, but I loved
finger
it. Like
painted these models.
and that's the point I'll take it from is the first thing besides winning, because that's a duh, obvious answer,
Mm-hmm.
is are you getting to know your army?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I'll say is, are you getting to know the game in a way that you stop opening your phone, your book, your rules, your data cards, and be like, oh, my clone infantry has reliable one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Or do you know your stuff enough that you feel confident in that list or army or whatever you're doing, that then you can take the next step of being like, man, why did Travis beat me? Because it's hard to think about that when you don't even know your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're still learning the game. So honestly, learning is winning. Like
Yep.
that's the best way I'll put it. Is learning is winning. Am I
Yeah.
getting better? The question is, are you getting smarter?
Sure.
Are
Yeah.
you learning enough about the game to be like, "Oh, I know what armor does. I know when to roll cover then armor or armor then cover." Those are the kind of things that when you knock those out and you can play quicker
Sure.
and focus on other things where you're not stressing about how many white dice does my Z6 throw? And you
Yeah.
can say, oh, I really need to be scoring this objective. He's already 3 points ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So I think wins and losses is too simplistic to look at it.
Sure.
Your victories a lot of times in getting better at the game lies outside of winning or losing the game. But knowing your stuff, learning your opponent's stuff, as bad as that sounds, um,
Yes. No,
learning the
that's fair.
game
Yeah.
itself, the objectives, the rules, just the more you know about the game, it sounds kind of bad, but if you know more about the game than your opponent, you're probably going to have a better chance of winning, as
Yeah.
cheesy as that sounds. And it's not because you're trying to game them and be like, oh, I got you. You're in the open because you only had two dudes in cover instead of, 50% of your models.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more of a, better than to do that if you're at a tournament. You know
Yeah.
better than to leave your guys out in the open or not try to score close to pocket round two, whatever the situation is.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
regardless if you guys are winning or losing, keep learning and you'll
Absolutely.
find yourself confident enough that when you do run into another opponent, if you have the right mindset and you're like, I know my stuff, I know what I can do, I'm just going to try my best, you're going to win a game.
Yep.
Like, you're going to beat people like Travis because you're like, oh, I'm just playing my thing. I'm focusing on me and what I know, and I'll worry about him being a good player after the game's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good
So,
word. Yep.
yeah.
We have a question in chat before we jump to our last
Mhm.
topic. Question from Jonah asking our thoughts on Lando Calrissian in 2.6. I'll start.
Yeah.
Here's my thought. There's too many other better things in that slot. Leia, awesome. New Leia is awesome. Uh, I mean, anything with exemplar, rebel officer, better
Dodges.
than Lando.
Dodges.
Yeah,
Dodges.
for what
Dodges.
the rest of the Rebel Army needs in that slot, there's just better options. I think literally the only reason that you should consider bringing Lando, is if you're running 2 commanders and 2 operatives and you need contingencies. But Han is a lot better in this slot. Leia is a lot better. Commander Luke is a lot better now in this slot. I just don't see too many instances where Lando is the right choice. I'm not saying, or is the best choice, if you will. I'm not saying he's necessarily the worst choice or a bad choice. I just think there's better choices.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short, simple, and sweet. He doesn't have a new card. They're going to change everything
Yes.
about him, and whenever they do that, so
Yep.
I
Current
I love him.
Lando. Yeah.
He's won me a tournament when I randomly spun him on a wheel one time of Misery, and it was one of the funnest lists I've ever played.
Yeah.
And I played him once in this new edition, and it was just like, yay, I don't have to play IG-11's 3-pip. That
Yep.
was the most I got out of his entire kit. But those 2 dice with Sharpshooter 2, great, but at range 3 and how aggressive the game is, you're just gonna watch Lando get picked up, and his
Yeah.
cards are not it anymore. It
Yep.
was cool to be able to discard his 2-pip and get a standby, but that sucks now too. So it's
Yeah.
just like boom, 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 boom. These things suck. Like Jared said, I would put him like probably at the bottom of the totem pole for commanders right now. But
Sure.
just be patient. I promise you, with
He'll
all
probably
of
be
the new
cool.
updates, it'll probably be cool. I'm
Yeah.
super excited what they're doing with contingencies because I'm either scared or I'm really excited.
And they've
But I
said that
haven't.
they're changing up commanders and operatives as well. I really think you're probably about to be able to take like a minimum of 1 commander, but a maximum of 4 commanders and operatives, to where it's
And they
like,
should have been doing that for Rebels forever.
yeah,
Like that should be the faction identity for Rebels
yes,
is you
is
can bring a bunch of
yeah,
little characters. So
yeah.
I
And who's to say
just
they
be
won't do
patient.
that? Yeah, we're just talking from our ear here on
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So
So
just be patient with Lando. They'll update him and I
yeah,
promise you he'll be super cool. But right now,
all
like go have fun with him if you want to, but
yeah, all these
you know,
classic characters like Lando, Leia, Luke, like in a rebuild, there you better believe that they're going to focus in really hard on those characters and make sure that they get them right. Because a
yep,
Star Wars game, those characters have to be right. Darth Vader has to be right. Luke Skywalker has to be right. Leia, Han,
they've done so
Chewie.
far.
Yep. So all of their rebuilt characters are great. I mean, even Empire side, looking at Veers and um,
Krennic.
well, yeah, Krennic, yeah, yeah. Why take Becky anymore? So
You can have 2 Krennics.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, yep. Thanks for the question, Jonah.
Yes.
Moving on to our last topic, and before we do so, again, I just want to take one more opportunity to say thank you for
Mm-hmm.
hopping in, watching the show. Just a reminder, we will continue to do the show once a month, but only on our Patreon, and we would love for you to hop in. We have tons of exclusive rewards for patrons, including exclusive content. There's a vlog battle report up there right now that you will not see on YouTube that is on our Patreon. So make sure that you head over to patreon.com/Jerry's Game Shop. There's definitely a link in the description that you can click and check it out as well. Last
So
topic. Go
one
ahead.
thing, one thing for them,
Yeah.
the Patreon, like he won't say because it's his thing mostly, it's his baby. But I've looked at some Patreons before, guys, and the best way I can tell you with the reason why you should consider Jerry's wonderful job he's done so far is think of it like a subscription service in terms of you getting free stuff the whole year. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying your entire house is going to be packed full of Legion stuff, but like you're not just watching videos and stuff. Like you are going to get things that you can actually use for the game.
Yeah.
Like you are going to get trays, you are going to get dice holders, you're going to get all this product, and you're going to get
At
it
the
for
higher
free
tiers.
at the higher.
Yeah.
But regardless, it it's just as much material as it is
Sure.
video material. So it
Yep.
I'm very excited that we've got it started. So
There's a
do it.
Patreon in the chat. Old James.
Good job,
He
James.
yeah, he's attesting to it. So thanks man. I signed up for Adepticon. It's the last
Interesting.
topic of the night. World Championships. It's going to happen We're trying to get Colton there still.
I'm thinking about it. I'm on the ropes. I need my
we're
wife to pop out a
Hey,
baby, and then I can tell you for
yeah,
sure.
and if you want to see Colton at Adepticon, hop on the Patreon. That'll get
Oh,
him there.
that'll
So
motivate me.
yeah, so we earlier we showed my list that I'm theory crafting. I've sent Colton one other list, one other Empire list that I'm actually thinking about. But for right now, we're gonna run that Separatist one into the ground and see what happens with that. We did get a release date on the ARF Troopers, so I believe we now know all of the things that will be out at Worlds. We don't know about the ARF Troopers yet and the Jedi detachment.
They are going to be on time though for Worlds, right?
They are. Their release date is
Okay.
March 17th, and
I'll
Worlds.
let y'all know right now. Whatever they are, I don't even care. Like I'll have three of them, and that's what I'll be getting for Worlds.
Yes,
This is the
take my
coolest
money.
thing ever. Yeah, take my money.
Yeah,
If you see someone with three Arfs and three Jedi, it's me.
yeah.
Like I'm
It's going to
down.
be really interesting how they work together, like a long range unit paired with the Jedi. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it. I know that they said that they're going to change up how, what's the C
Detachment
word or detachment? Yeah, there we go. I was like
or
companion. I was like, what am I thinking of?
yeah,
Uh,
there's still a
or
detachment. I thought maybe
detachment or
it is detachment. It's detachment.
counterpart. So,
Oh, maybe.
anyways, well, detachment is like a separate unit, and it in the
No,
box makes.
I thought
I
that's
think
what
the
it was.
box is saying. I think when I was reading the box, it makes it sound like there's only one unit card in it. So I
Mm.
kind of thought that they were going to be a counterpart, like,
I thought they were just an upgrade, but I see what you're saying. I may
yeah,
be pulling them up right now. Don't tell anybody.
yeah. If you look at the back of the box art where it says like what's included in it, I think it just says one unit.
Hmm.
Um, so
I heard they were gonna change up a ton of stuff about
yes,
it, so I am.
yeah,
Yeah, see, I'm pulling up the back now.
yeah. In the context of the current form of the
Yeah,
game,
it
it might
says
not make sense, but
it says one unit.
one
Okay, yeah,
unit, yeah.
yeah.
So we'll
So
see. We'll see how that works when it comes
I bet they'll
out.
be in
But
arcs. They'll
yeah,
just put them in art
Colton will
troopers,
find
and
out because he's gonna have three of them. So
I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know for sure.
yeah, I'll have three of them as well. I just will still be playing
So
my
cool.
crabs and aquas hopefully at that point. So
Probably be better.
so other than the unknowns, what are you expecting? And it's very broad intentionally. What are you expecting to see at Worlds this year?
List wise.
Whatever, list
Oh,
wise, event wise, like attendance wise. I think the
ooh,
when I signed up, I was like,
dangerous
man, it
question.
feels like these numbers are kind of low.
I mean, we had our whole community go last time, and that
Mm-hmm.
was one of the most fun trips we've ever taken
Oh
as a
man,
group. It was a
it was a
blast.
blast.
I think, and I don't ever want to be like, oh, AMG bad, evil, but I do think they really did miss an opportunity to rebrand their game and be like, here's Legion 2.0, here's your new core box. We're gonna
Yeah,
have a new competitive circuit this year because, I mean, LVO was supposed to be our worlds, and now we have an actual world. So I do think that miscommunication, or rather time frame of what communication we did get, really did affect
yeah. Because at first it sounded like there was nothing gonna be it. They weren't gonna do Adepticon.
I would have timed my kid differently. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
you heard
would
it
have
here
I would have planned
first.
this out. God, you think I'm just here for fun? This is my lifestyle.
I love
But
it.
but jokes aside, like, yeah, I want to go, but also at the same time, it's a question of you know, what is your purpose this year at Worlds? Are you
Sure.
trying to win the whole thing? Are you trying to just have fun? Because you're at a very isolated event. But I do think for me, event wise, I expect to see less people. I
Sure.
expect to see a lot less people from out of country.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I remember last year, just like I had the opportunity to get my butt kicked by Ollie in the World Championship.
Yep.
Don't go watch that video on stream. Um, but like all of his group was like, man, everything's so expensive, classic inflation
Yeah.
problems. But like
Yep.
the fact that it doesn't have 10 other events going on, or it's not where it was last year, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So,
Yeah. It doesn't
but
have the
positive
prestige.
wise, they still did it, and so I give them credit for that.
Sure.
But I do expect less people. I expect a more Wild West version of Worlds versus last year, where it was like EXD
Right.
501st. Like the top lists were still in the top. I
Yep.
don't be surprised if you see like Sabine win the World Championship
Yeah.
next.
Or
You know
this
what I mean?
list that's on your screen right now.
Oh,
Dang it.
so Jared, I'll come back to you and tell you what I expect list wise, but why don't you tell us what you think event wise, and I'll pop a battery in.
Yeah. Event wise, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who are disgruntled over it not being an invitational anymore. Personally, I think that's okay because, like, if you can be the best in an invitational tournament, you can for sure be the best in an open tournament. Like, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to win in a pool of a bunch of randos if you expected to win against a room full of the absolute best players in the game. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not too disgruntled by that.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for it. I think it makes it a lot more accessible for other players because, like you said, that trip was by far one of my favorite like friend trips that I've ever been on. Like outside of gaming,
Yeah.
just like hanging out with our whole group that went up there is awesome. Not having to restrict that by a skill threshold, I think is cool.
Yes.
Event wise, I don't really know what to expect. I actually signed up for the Shatterpoint World Championships. I've never played in a Shatterpoint tournament ever, so who knows what's gonna happen with that. But yeah, so Colton, what are you expecting list wise?
List wise, I mean,
I mean, it's
I'm
hard to answer that
definitely,
question right now just because we don't know what ARFs do.
well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When's the last time a bad GAR unit came out?
Um,
Like, I mean, I know Cody
the
wasn't the
original
best.
Fluttercraft.
I mean, yeah, that's my thing is like the
Sure.
faction is by far the hardest to balance because it's just so, here you go, buddy, here's a
Mm-hmm.
token. And I think a unit that could potentially be a long range threat combined with a unit that could be a close range threat just sounds like exactly what terrifies me for that faction.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like white saves or whatever and just like a long range unit, but
Yep.
regardless, I mean, I, Gar, duh, they always find a way. There's no way they're not going to be there with a list that people are like, ah, crap, it's that
Mm-hmm.
Gar list. But I do think that this year more than ever, if when we get to that top eight, the last day of the big boy tournament, I think it's gonna be a lot cooler than it has been in the past, where it's
Sure.
like, last year, I mean, what we had like four EXD lit or three XD lists with the top four.
Yeah.
I don't even remember, and the one Shadow Collective. So like that kind of stuff really does discourage me at least from
Sure.
wanting to be like, oh boy, let's go to Worlds and lose to this one list that everyone's going to be playing. And
Uh
I know
huh.
that that's obviously a tabletop problem in general, so it's not
Sure.
me bashing on Legion. But I think this year, if they don't make any major changes before the game, you know, comes to the big stage, you can have a lot of flexibility for what you're going to get to the top tables.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a really cool year to be like, who's going to win? What's going to win? But Gar, I think droids might be dominating the competitive scene for a hot minute. Um, Otherwise though, yeah, the
Yeah.
Rebels sneak in there. Empire,
Dude, there's
I
been
feel
a
like
ton
you're the
of
third
Ewoks
child.
on stream today.
Oh, dude. Hey, listen, if I went to Worlds tomorrow, I'm bringing that 14 activation Ewoks list.
Yep.
Just, you know, at like just to be that guy, but like the thing with Ewoks is it takes so long to collect that many little dudes, especially when you get updated to 1,000 points, but like
Yep.
I played the list a couple times now. I just know that it's a good list. And
It's
if you
very
find
good.
some madman that either owns 7 squads of B2s or Ewoks, you're gonna find some of these lists that people just haven't collected yet because they
Right.
can't get them. So
Yep.
I Wild West still, I know that people are like, I know the meta, it's this or that. Just
Yeah.
be ready for anything
Yep.
is
And
my
we'll have I think we'll have a really good picture of it too coming out of this weekend
yes.
at LVO.
Correct.
Just a little bit of a better idea of what to expect. I did update those numbers now that we were all the way out of round 3 of the
Boom.
GT. And the win rate did go up for Gar and Empire. Rebels at 56, CIS 53,
There we go.
Gar 48, Empire 46, Shadow 39.
Still in the same order though.
Still in the same order. Yep,
Boom,
Rebel,
undefeated.
CIS, Gar, Empire, Shadow. Well, guys, that is all that we have tonight for the show. Reminder that this show will be moving to our Patreon platform as well as other exclusive content. Make sure to head over to patreon.com, and the link is in the description below, but it's patreon.com/Jerry's Game Shop. We've got a lot of great content over there. And if you can't support us in that way, we still love you. Thank you so much for being a viewer. We just ask that you like and leave a comment and hit the subscribe button. With that being said, I will let you guys get out of here. Make sure you hop over to that Las Vegas Open GT stream on Imperial Goldfish's channel and give that a watch. It's
Yup.
been very entertaining. There is 4 rounds of Legion today, and one just started about 45 minutes ago, I believe. And so you will definitely want to hop on there and catch that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Colton will be back with you. On Monday with a new tactics video talking about list building. So
Yes.
make sure that you hop on there and catch that video when Colton comes back to us on Monday. So,
Alrighty.
all right, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you later.